Get out of there! Get out of there! Finish it out!
When defensive end Tristan Okpalaugo signed with the Toronto Argonauts in May, he had to Google the CFL just to find out more about the league. When he discovered some of the adjustments he was going to have to make under Canadian rules, for example, lining up a yard off the ball, he knew making the transition would take some time.
I was shocked. I was like, how am I supposed to rush like this? I'm at a disadvantage right now. But, you know, as the games went on, practice went on, I ended up, you know, learning how to cope with it. I knew that the field was longer and wider, and that's about it.
Compared to most of his teammates, Okpalaugo was a late bloomer in the football world. He admits he was very raw when he began his college career at Fresno State, but by his senior year he was nominated for the most outstanding player in America who began his career as a walk-on. Following a brief training camp stint in the NFL, he was offered a contract with the Toronto Argonauts, where he'd be working with defensive line coach Will Plemons, the same D-line coach he worked with in college.
You know, he's a delight to have around. You know, he came in, when I first got a hold of Tristan, he came in as a walk-on. And he came in as a guy that walked in at 6 a.m. with a bunch of kids. And he never played much football. He was about 190 pounds, 6'6", had like buggy whips coming out of his shoulder pads, and didn't know anything about football. And just watching him and helping him progress through his career at Fresno, and then when he was in the NFL, and then, you know, I kept my eye on him. And then when he was released, you know, I put a good word in for him with, you know, everyone here, and I was lucky enough to get him up here and play for us.
For Okpalaugo, the value of having the same coach who helped mold him into the player he is today back in the fold to assist him with his CFL transition cannot be understated.
It's great because it's the same stuff that he was teaching in college that I'm going over again. It's just brushing up on it, just a few different techniques, different names for the techniques. But other than that, it's still get off the ball, have a plan, set point, all that stuff, so it's pretty much the same.
Despite his imposing 6'5", 250-pound frame, Okpalaugo is one of the quietest and most modest players in the team. In a sport full of alpha males, you sure won't find that attitude from him, despite being second in the league in sacks with 8.
I think I'm having an okay season, I guess. I mean, I missed a bunch of sacks, so I'm not doing that great, so. But yeah, it's a lot of scheme and D-line working hard together and trying to get the quarterback.
He's not going to be overall, you know, loud and obnoxious or any way, and that's okay. You know, the bottom line though is he's working hard on the field, and people respect that. So in a way, you know, as long as you're doing it on the field, you become an alpha male. You don't have to be a loud guy, and that's really a really good thing.
Tristan says a long playing career in Canada becomes more enticing with each given week. With Coach Plemons by his side, he's quickly becoming one of the most elite defensive players in the CFL, and one that Toronto hopes stays in double blue for quite some time. For Argos TV, I'm Gareth Bush.